Hey Leo, this is your September love reading. If this message does not resonate with you at all, then it's not for you and you can check back with me in October. There are a lot of other readers out there, so just see if you could find one that more closely matches what you have going on with your situation. If it does, then great. I would really love to hear from you in the comments. I did 2 angel oracle cards. The 2 that I pulled for you were pay attention to the red flags and also attraction. Then I pulled 5 cards from the vice versa tarot deck. They were the 10 of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Lovers, the 5 of Wands, and the 7 of Cups. So I got a really, what I would consider to be a strange and a specific kind of a reading. So that's why I particularly just want to put it out there that if this is not your story, that's totally fine. But I think that probably some people need to hear this. So for the month of September, if you are in a relationship or you are starting a relationship where you're finding that you're really attracted to somebody, but there might be some red flags going on, please do pay attention to those, because there is going to be a major problem or some major problems coming up for you that could be potentially long-lasting issues. I really feel like this relationship for you, whether you're male or female, is based on initially on attraction, but I think that your partner may be, I'm just going to put it out there, there's an element of gold digging involved here. It could be like for, the typical gold digging sense of like for money, but it could also be, maybe status or to move up somehow. Maybe it's for climbing up the social ladder, or it could be in career. I'm not really sure, but let's just go through the cards and I'll let you know why I say that. So the first card we got was the 10 of Pentacles. And as soon as I saw this card, I thought to myself, that looks like the King of Pentacles. And then the next card that came out was the King of Pentacles. Because if you see this card here, this is the back side of the card, which is the 10 of Pentacles. But the front side has the King, I think it's the King of Pentacles, and his dog. But this is the back side. And this is a card that talks about your legacy, your family's legacy. It's about having so much money that you have enough to pass down to the generations. So this is a card of ultimate wealth and abundance. It's about just, really being good with money. It's about having not only financial security for yourself, but enough that you have secured enough for generations to come, basically. And when I see in this particular card, it's got what looks like a woman and a man standing in front of the King of Pentacles, I immediately got the impression of like a son and his fiance coming to tell the father, oh, we just got engaged. I don't know why that popped in my head, but so much of tarot card reading is all about intuition, and that's what popped into my head, so that's the story that I'm going to tell. Then, like I said, the King of Pentacles popped out. And the King of Pentacles is somebody who, this is what I call the man with a Midas touch. Everything he touched turns to gold. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's usually like a businessman or a man in some sort of finance real estate. Somebody who's just really great with money. He can always, double his investments, and he's just usually the boss or the owner of his own company, and you can see all the abundance around him. He is the man with the money. And like I said, I really think he's the person in this card as well. So we see this man here twice, okay? And the card that came after that was the Lovers. And I really think that this card is representing these two people that are in front of the King of Pentacles. So if you take these cards together, all three of these cards together, which doesn't usually happen for me when I do readings, I see all these people as the same people, even though obviously they're not drawn the same way. So I think, and when I pull this Lovers card, if I flip it over, I always see this as like, I don't know why, I always see this as like a marriage card for some reason, because it's almost like the angel is presiding over these two people getting married. This is just the way that I see it visually when I flip the card over. But we got the back side. But anyway, that's what, like I said, I saw them kind of like saying, hey, we're getting married. And his back is to us. But then here he is looking at us in this card. And then we see them with the back side. So it's kind of like, this is, in the book, this says this is after they've gotten married. So, okay, so they're announcing their engagement. We see the King of Pentacles. And then we see them after they get married. And things have calmed down a little bit. The excitement of the wedding is over. Then we get to the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is all about conflicts, arguments, rioting, fighting. I see it as like, in the context of, after you get married, I see it as a lot of arguments between spouses, a lot of just fussing and fighting and not getting along, and not a happy marriage at all. Again, it's telling you, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And then at the end, we've got this guy with 7 of Cups, and he's like, what the fuck did I do? Like, seriously. You can see the look on his face. What did I do? And he's throwing his hands up like, oh, what did I just do? I think I picked the wrong one. Because this card is usually about, having options, and you can pick the one that you want because you have these 7 options to pick from. And after this, I think it's like he's saying, oh no, I didn't pay attention to the red flags and I picked the wrong one, because all that me and this person do is fight. That's all we do. And here I am, like I'm stuck. He's like, what is he doing? He's like hanging out in the swamp, going, what have I done? So, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, and I'm not really doing that. What I'm trying to say is, before all this happens and before all this comes to pass, and it doesn't have to exactly play out like this, I'm just giving you a scenario. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're in a relationship with somebody that you don't know so well yet, make sure that you really get to know that person. There's a saying, you don't know somebody until you have lived with them. And I'll even take it a step further and say, you don't really know somebody until you've lived with them for a little while, I'm not saying just spend a month with them. You need to spend a significant amount of time with them so that you can see exactly what it would be like to share your life with somebody, because they, people have all many facets to their personalities. They can behave many different ways under many different circumstances. And how they act in the beginning when things are good and there's no pressure and, they don't have any stresses on them, can be awesome. But then let's just say that something happens and at the first sign of trouble they just crumble, or they become impossible to live with, and you just sit there and you're going, who is this person that I married? How did I not see that they were really like this? So you have to be careful. You have to actually look for them, look beyond the attraction, and actually look for the red flags. Because sometimes it can be so easy to idealize somebody and just look at the positives and try to excuse all the negatives. And we all have flaws. I'm not saying that everybody has to be perfect. But if there is something that is majorly wrong with somebody, if there's somebody who has an issue that cannot be overcome in a relationship, it is so much better to know that in the beginning, before you are committed to them or before you have a family with them and have to, spend the next 18 years dealing with them because you have a child together. So that's just my little advice, and hopefully a little warning for you so that you can avoid disaster.